I'm Dros. I'm a professional landscape photographer from the Netherlands, and I'm specialized in landscape and cityscape photography, especially very spectacular landscapes all around the world. It can be here in the Netherlands, but it can also be very far on Antarctica or Greenland, but I just want to capture the beauty of the world. This can be nature, it can be landscapes, but also cityscapes. I see beauty everywhere, macro, big things, small things, it doesn't matter. I just want to capture the beauty of the world.
My name is Jaworskyj. I'm a professional landscape photographer for over 10 years, and mainly I'm specialized in nature, travel, and everything that inspires me. What's special about Scotland for me is that I did my first landscape photography trip ever, where I photographed only landscapes to Scotland, especially to the Isle of Skye. And that's why I really look forward to those epic locations, see how they developed and maybe changed over years, or maybe not, maybe they still are the same and still are the same epic locations, and how I will photograph them today with a different view, with more experience. So I really look forward to that.
The last time I've been to Scotland, wow, that's been a while actually. I think it's like 7 years, 6 years, something like that. I have some images from Scotland, not that much, but for now, what I just want to have, I don't have something specific in my mind, but I want to capture the drama there. They capture the drama of the Scottish landscapes, maybe some famous locations, but like with a very dramatic light when the sun is just coming through, maybe some rainbows. I just want to see that spectacular weather and capture that. It can be very challenging, but it can be also very rewarding when you get that special light coming through. There's a lot of rain, a lot of dramatic skies to work with, and that's what we like as photographers.
You can shoot the same location, the same spot over and over again, but every day you will get different results because of the changing weather, all the changing seasons, and just whatever will happen there.
We had a lot of rain and we waited there, and just when the light came a little bit through, for just that moment I took the shot. And what I really like is that it's not the ordinary photo of fairy pools. I always try to find a little bit different compositions, and I don't think I've seen a shot like this before. And the conditions really worked because you only see the mountain in the middle, the rest is covered by clouds. It's very dramatic, and this is the kind of mood that I like in photos. What was difficult about the photo is actually to frame it properly, because it was not a big area where I could move. I had to get low, I had to get close to that waterfall, and I also couldn't get it in one shot. I had to do some focus stacking to get everything sharp, because I was super close to that waterfall in the foreground. So the framing was not easy, but I really like the result. Tip I can tell you with image like this is just to look for something different. Look for different composition that you saw on the internet and try something new. And I get a lot of satisfaction from the fact that I can make an image from a spot that is shot so many times, but it's still quite unique. Well, I know I was gonna photograph a stream and waterfall, so I took my rubber boots so I could stand in the stream. If I would have my normal boots, I wouldn't be able to take the shot like this. So the rubber boots, when you're gonna shoot in water, wear them.
I just took the classic shot like I did previous years ago because I just wanted to have the shot in autumn mood, and that is something that I can recommend you as well. Just shoot the same location, maybe even the exact same shot like you did already, but in different conditions, like in different weather conditions, but also different seasons, because you will always get a different image. So I took the exact same shot somewhere in spring. It was a little more greenish, and now it's a little bit more orange. Also the mood was different because of all the rain and the dark clouds with that mountain in the background. So it's a very nice shot, and even though I took the shot before, I still enjoyed taking the same shot again. The challenge to take the photos was really the weather, because it was raining all over again, and it was not like a constant rain, but it was like raining, stop, raining, stop, raining, stop, raining, wind, wind, raining, raining, wind. So you could never really focus on one thing. You always had to just say, well, screw it, I just take the photo anyway. And what's a good helper there? Always microfiber cloth. So usually I take the shot like this, I hold it here in front of the camera, and then 2-second self-timer, and then I release it. So I press the button 2 seconds, 1, 2, and then I release the cloth from in front of the camera, and then everything is clean and I don't have any raindrops on my lens, because when I shoot with a closed aperture, then you see a lot of raindrops on your lens. That's the advantage of an open aperture, you don't see the raindrops. But I wanted to have the closed aperture, so I have to live with it.
I always try to use leading lines in my photo. Very easy, from a corner of the frame leading you into the image. Make sure that the lines don't go out of the image, but nicely into the image. A leading line can be anything. It can be a rock, it can be flowers, it can be a path. But leading lines often very nice in a photo to direct the viewer's eye. I often get a little bit lower for that as well, so not on eye height, but a little bit lower to the ground, especially with the wide angle. Even small lines get very big in the image with the wide angle shot. So don't shoot from eye height, but also get a little bit lower to get those strong leading lines in the photo.
When you start to photograph, you usually just try to capture everything and try to capture everything in your image. But that's a huge mistake. I try to focus, and with focus I don't only mean actually the focus, but the general view of the image. I try to focus on only 1, 2, max 3 things in one image. And one of those things can be a specific foreground. So let's say in the lower part of the image, when you have 2/3 of foreground, 1/3 of sky maybe, then I look for a rock, or I look for a flower, or look for a bush, or just something else, can be a person as well in the foreground. Something to have in the image, maybe in the left corner bottom, and then in the right upper corner of the image I have a beautiful sunset or something like this, so that you can really look through the image, and that you can achieve oftentimes for foreground. So whenever I look at a famous location, I walk around there, I look not only for the location itself, but for specific foregrounds.
People rush a lot, so they go somewhere, they want to take the shot, they take the shot and they are done. No, there are so many compositions, even at small places. Take a landscape shot, take some portrait shots. Also wait, because the weather, even if the weather is not how you want it to be, it can change. Sometimes I wait for 10 minutes, sometimes I wait for 2 hours just to get that patch of light coming through the clouds to get the shot I have in mind. So don't rush your shots, take the time to get the best possible shot. The photo I took at Sligachan is also a good example of the dramatic Scotland. We had so much rain and we stopped here, and the mood was actually very nice, super dramatic. You couldn't see the mountains well, it was rainy, so everything was very bluish. So I took the shot of the bridge and everything was very dramatic and monotone, and I thought, okay, what if I put myself in that shot with the red jacket, and then it really pops out. So I put the camera in the correct position and I walked there, and normally I put a time lapse to photograph myself, but it was raining a lot, so I asked actually Ludwig, the guy behind the camera here, to take the picture for me and also clean the lens a little bit so that I get a clean picture. So he was standing there and he actually took this shot of me standing on the bridge at Sligachan. What was difficult about the shot was definitely the conditions. It was super rainy, we had to clean the lens all the time. I was using a filter for a slightly long exposure, had to clean the filters, also had to wait because sometimes the mountains would not be visible at all. So the conditions were what made the shot difficult, but also it made for unique conditions. A good tip for the viewer is, no matter the conditions, just try to get those shots. It was super rainy, not the best weather, but we still managed to get a nice shot here. And something else which was nice is there were absolutely no people because the weather was so bad, and otherwise that's a spot where many people stand on that bridge.
It was a super rainy day. It was one of the rainiest days, I think, of the whole year. They wrote in the newspaper that it rained that much, like in a whole month here in Scotland. And on that day we were out because we had no option. What should we do? Just stay in the accommodation? No, we went out shooting. So it was raining, drizzling, we were super wet already because we were out all day, and we were looking for Highland cows. But honestly, you think Highland cows are everywhere in Scotland? Maybe, but here on the Isle of Skye, no. We only saw one place where Highland cows were. So we went out, it was drizzling. They were actually on a big open area with a fence, so we had to shoot through the fence. But then one cow was very close and very wet, and that's the shot I wanted to take. The wet, long fur of those Highland cows dripping from water, and the cow just with a beautiful dramatic background with a lot of fog and layers, and yeah, very close to the camera. So I took my 70 to 200mm lens through the fence, then I went down on my knees, put the hood of the jacket on and just waited until the perfect moment was there. And the perfect moment for me was when the cow was looking straight into the camera, nice background, and also I have one shot where the cow did a little bend in their front foot, and I like that a lot with animals, when they have a bit of movement, to not be just steady standing, but a bit of movement in the image. And it was not that easy to take because first of all it was raining. It's not easy to shoot in rain because you get drizzles all the time on your lens. So I took out the cloth, I cleaned my lens all the time, I had the hood on. That is also good for the lens hood that protects you a little bit from rain. And I wanted to have a fast shutter because it was raining. I wanted to show the rain as well, so we have all those raindrops visible in the image, and that's only possible with a fast shutter speed. And because of the fast shutter speed, I needed high ISO. And what you can learn from that is use high ISO. Don't care what is important for you, do that. And for me important was the shutter speed, so I put ISO high, I think 1600, even ISO 2000, I'm not quite sure, but the image is super nice. I was very happy that we went out in the rain and actually found some Highland cows here in the Highlands.
The image I took at Quiraing here in Scotland, it's a classic spot, many people, but it's a unique take on the composition. There were many streams going down there from the mountain because of the heavy rainfall, and these streams, they are normally not there. So I used this new stream that was formed there to kind of lead you into the composition as a leading line, and there was just a patch of light coming through, hitting the mountains, creating the separation between elements, something different that you normally don't get with all these streams. So it's not the best image, but it's an original image, and I quite like how it came out. So the challenging part about the shot was I had to get low a bit to the stream, so it was very muddy there. The shot was taken with a wide angle lens. Positioning and getting the right composition, not easy, but the result with the leading line of the stream, I think it came out nice. This shot was taken not so far from the path, but you don't see it from the path. So always look around a little bit to see what is, just 10 meters further from the path. Explore a little bit around these places, and also vertical shot. I don't see that many vertical shots these days. So yeah, I took this as a big vertical image, just a single image, but the vertical shots, always try them out. Don't only focus on the landscape images.
There was just like a small tree growing out of the cliff, and then there was a small creek going, there was a road winding up, and it's a very uncommon shot for me because usually I teach, put something in the foreground, go close to subjects, but there I did it not, because I thought the overall composition is just beautiful. It's just nice to look at, even though it's a lot. Of course, it's an image on Instagram. I don't think it gets that many likes because there's just so much going on. You don't see it when it's tiny, but when you see it big printed, nice colors, I think it's a beautiful shot with a dramatic sky and the lush green colors and all those nice details here on 61, 62, I can't remember actually how many megapixels this camera has. Somewhat it must be good for.
The Neist Point shot is very minimalistic. I did something that I don't do that much, but I wanted to focus only on the big rocks and the lighthouse and do a super long exposures, kind of abstract, with all the clouds coming by and the light hitting it a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit of an abstract shot. So minimalistic approach this time. I really like it. And the difficult part is that this place, it's an amazing place, but it's not so easy to photograph properly. So to get a good shot of the sense of this place, how big it actually is, yeah, that's not so easy to put in a photo. And I felt that with these images it turned out quite nice. So a tip for the viewer is, for myself, I look for foregrounds and use wide angle shot, but if I did that here, the lighthouse would be very small. So I went a little bit out of my comfort zone with the shot of the super long exposure. So don't always do the same thing what you are used to. Try to get a little bit out of your comfort zone and do something different. It's nice for yourself, and you learn something new as well.
At Neist Point we've been quite lucky. We've been to Scotland for 7 days and it was raining almost all the time. And I really mean all the time. So it was the only day with no rain. So even though it's a sunset spot, we went there for sunrise, and of course we did not see the sun. It was super cloudy when we arrived, but then like half an hour after sunrise, which is in the opposite direction, the colors changed a little bit in the sky. A bit of bluish was almost visible, and yeah, we were very happy about that. So I just took some shots of Albert and his red Parker Pro Signature Edition with the tripod, so just a small person with a tripod standing in that vast giant landscape. Over 60 megapixels here on my camera, that will look amazing as a header image on the website, or as well printed it. It's a huge image, I would say, with a lot of details. Also Neist Point, very iconic place. But I also took different photos, like a bit more closer. Usually I take a lot of variations, also portrait mode, landscape mode. And then I found some sheeps, and that was quite interesting because it was a mother and two smaller sheeps, and the smaller sheeps were quite curious and they always looked in the camera and waited and put their heads up, and that was perfect to photograph. And one of that small sheeps stood on a cliff, and I took my long lens, my 55 1.8, so with a blurry background, and the sheep was just standing perfectly, and I thought, oh, long lens, open aperture, let's try something. So I have now the sheep looking in the camera on that cliff with a slightly blurry background because of that long lens with an open aperture. Epic landscape, epic light coming through. It's a perfect shot of an animal. Was it planned? No. But did I take the chance? Yes. And I was there at the right time, at the right place, and knew exactly what to do. And I really enjoy the images of Neist Point. My tip for you is take what is possible. See your chances and take opportunities. And this is true for those images in several ways. First of all, we went on a sunset location for sunrise. Because we had to, because it was the only day with no rain. And second of all, I took the chance of those sheep standing there, even though I wanted to shoot landscapes. But I saw the sheep and thought, that's a good situation. I don't want to shoot it on 16, I don't want to shoot it on 35. Let's take my spare camera, 55mm 1.8, very uncommon, but let's just do it and get the shot. And it's a nice shot. Sometimes it turns out great.
Make sure you go prepared to places and wear the proper clothing. Weather can change very fast in some places, so you want to have a good coat, like my Parker Pro here, that is very good in any kind of weather condition. So it has a fleece layer, a mid layer, and this jacket. If it gets warmer, you just remove a layer. If it gets colder, you add a layer. So we always wear layers when the weather is changing a lot.
When I'm outdoor, I want to focus on what is important, and this is the camera and the image. I don't want to care about weather too much, and I want to stay warm, cozy and organized. And this is what I get from this jacket system.
The nice thing about it is that it's really aimed at photographers. So the pockets are big, you can put a lot of stuff in it. You can put like a power bank here, you can put your memory cards there. There's a special battery pocket, for example. If you go to really cold places, you can put some batteries in there so that they're against your body and they're being kept warm. These are all small things, but for us photographers they are quite important. And these clothes, they're really aimed at photographers.
The Haukland 7-in-1 Parker Pro Photography Jacket is the pro line of Haukland, and I'm very honored to have now my own signature line next to Albert, who's a great photographer as well, and maybe in the future we will have other signature lines with other great and inspiring photographers.
For me it's important when you go out to have a plan, have something in your head, okay? You don't always get what you want, but you get something. Right? And if you get nothing, it gives you a reason to try again, try again, try again. And sometimes after 10 tries, you get that shot finally that was in your head. And you need to put the bar high. I like to put the bar high because if you put the bar very high, you will challenge yourself and you will maybe not get the shot easy. Maybe you will not get it ever, but it will keep you going. You keep trying, and while trying you get a lot of different other shots.
A lot of my composition techniques I take from old paintings. So I studied them in museums, and I also have old paintings at my home, and I study the composition, what they put in the picture. So I don't want to overload my images, but I want to have something interesting in the images, something to look at. And what I like a lot at seascapes is to play with exposure. So I use my filters almost all the time, play with longer exposures, shorter exposures, play with the waves, and have those structures in my image that make it interesting and also different from smartphone photography. Because with the smartphone you just capture a moment, but with photography you can bring that moment together with skill and with technique, and then it's just an amazing art piece.
Hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Check out the website, check the link in the description.
Hit thumbs up if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will take some more photos and maybe see you in the next video.
Haukland Photography Clothing.